Hey, hello everybody. Welcome back to the live stream. I'm Christopher Dahl, Blackbird CD, formerly from the Twitch side, and now we're on YouTube. And welcome to the model bench here. Thank you so much for joining. Wes, you're here. Hello, hello. And apparently I've broken your ad block. I'm very, very sorry. Yeah, I hope that doesn't ruin the thing. I honestly don't know if I get ads. I'm not sure. I'll have to let you tell me. I'm not sure. Rhonda's here too. How you doing, Rhonda? Cool. Says it was me. I've been breaking everything lately. Well, I know the feeling, Rhonda. Oh my gosh, I swear the month of May was just one broken thing after another around here as well. So, hey, we're in the right spot. But welcome to Friday. Let me kick off some music. As always, let me know if it's too loud, not loud enough. And let's get things all started here, shall we? Yes, indeed. Okay, flipping this thing back. How do you like my model bench? Welcome to the new model bench. Hey, we are trying this out, right? So let me see. I'm going to try something here. I'm going to try what happens if I do that. There we go. That's better. Okay. I was kicking the font up on my chat here. So what's been going on? I know I missed last week. That trip totally caught up with me, and I'm terrible. Oh my gosh. I had trouble with the ad block yesterday. I copied the link, went to DuckDuckGo, looked at the video there. Today YouTube is fine. Oh, weird. You know, I haven't I haven't checked that yet, actually. So it was fine. YouTube was fine for me earlier today when I was looking at a few other videos. I'm not sure actually, but yeah. So let's get. Hey, Tasty Whales here too. Welcome aboard. I post a couple of model plane photos that everyone shows. No, I'm anyway. Yeah. So let's see. Last week, I got to deliver a painting. I've been sharing the progress of this painting on Patreon. So if you've been there, well, not recently, I know, but if you've been there, I was doing a sunset painting that was commissioned by my brother, which is really cool. And they live up in Grand Blanc. Actually, they live in my old home in Grand Blanc. So those of you Grand Blanc natives who knew me way back then, I still get to go to the house that I grew up in, which is really cool. So that happened, and I also took the opportunity. Had a great visit with my dad and my brother, by the way, which is a little related to the airplane. I'll get to that in a second. And I also met up with a very good friend of mine. His name is Matt, and Matt and I go way back. In fact, we realized it had been a while since we'd spoken. It's probably been 20 years since we've run into each other. And touch louder than me? Okay, cool. Music will be going down. You got it. That's not good. Okay, I'm going to do that. There we go. Oh, Rhonda. Thank you. Thank you, Rhonda. Seriously, thank you. Anyway, so this good friend of mine, we recently got in touch and decided, hey, he lives very close by, so I was going to stop and visit him. So I had a really great weekend of just kind of catching up with people. I don't see my family often enough, in spite of having moved relatively closely here. But so it was good. It was really good. The painting was well received, by the way. It was a gift, and I was really thrilled. I am going to be posting the official thing out this week to everybody. And that was pretty cool. That was a very cool project that I've had early this year. So it was good on many fronts. Let's see. Hopefully the music's better now. Okay, cool. Am I going to be adding nacelles to the Corsair? Let me see if I can do this right. If I do it kind of like that, maybe, I think. Maybe. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, or how about wingtip we got to do the downturned ones, right? So we could do the down, so it'd be like skis. Oh, that's hilarious. Didn't think I'd have nacelles within reach, did you, Wes? Yeah, actually, I think wingtip would be really cool, honestly. There is a, oh gosh, if I'm not careful, I'm going to go into too much detail. There's a variant of the Corsair that had a radar pod off the front. It was, it's pretty nifty. Kind of what you're describing, honestly. Anyhow, so that was why there's no live stream last week. Getting back to it, yes, I was gone. I was gone. Good road trip. Took a few days, and yeah. So interestingly enough, I grew up in a household where not only model building was pretty common. My father was is still, he flies RC planes, and before that he was building HO scale trains and all the little buildings and things, which is really fun. Hey, Iridium, good to see you this afternoon. Greetings. Hope Jira is treating you well this afternoon, and for anyone else that has to deal with the Friday fun of Jira and meetings. Yeah. Good to see everyone here. So I grew up in a household where my dad, myself, and my brother, we all built models of some form or another. They were more into the remote control things, right? So the remote control planes, remote control cars, that sort of stuff. Boats, a lot of cool boats. They still do summer flies where they'll go to a lake and they have boats that will land in the water, RC planes that'll land in the water, and boats that go in the water. It's definitely in the family. and they both loved flying planes, World War II aircraft, fighter jets, really kind of anything with wings, right? So there were always wings and planes in my life, and there's so many crossovers with model building, right? If you're learning to build a model spaceship, you're going to be building and painting and weathering things in the same techniques people use to build planes. In fact, a lot of the detailing that you see in spaceship models it is really taken almost straight from beaten up World War II aircraft in many cases, especially the side of Star Wars. And even on the Star Trek side of things, Matt Jeffries was actually an aviation illustrator before he became a studio artist and designer for specifically for Star Trek and a few other things. So there's definitely a lineage and a history in sci-fi design and shapes and features that really appeal to me. In spite of the fact that I as much as I love aircraft, I certainly don't love it to the depth that they do. I adore them. It's been part of my life, and I don't own many aircraft kits. When I was buying models, and the stack of models on the other side of the wall over here are mostly spacecraft. I'll be spacecraft movie things, but there were a few real world articles, and this one in particular. Funny story. This was the it's by Tamiya, the Vought F4U1 Birdcage Corsair. I think this was one of the first releases of a new line of 72nd scale aircraft models that they had at the time, or it was a new tooling, so they had refined a lot of the details on it. And I recall seeing an article on it. I was much more heavy into model building at the time, so you would occasionally see this stuff. And someone had commented, this is the age before you, this is like 2006, 2007, so there wasn't anything really on YouTube. For whatever reason, this stuck in my mind, and I saw it at my local hobby shop, Galaxy Hobby, out of Linwood, Washington. Ah, yes, rest in peace, Galaxy Hobby. And I remember I bought this thing, and I was like, someday I would really like to do a version, build this into a nice little display model. So, yes, right, Tasty Whale, aircraft are just suborbital spacecraft. So true. Strangely enough, I actually have the receipt. I know it's a little bit. Let's see, what did I get this for? Looks like $45.50 in January of 2007. 2007. Yay. Oh, I received compliments on the wine tumbler. Oh, cool. The Space Mushroom wine tumbler. That's awesome. Used it as a chance to call me Space Bob Ross. That's so cool. I've got to get a few more. I'm glad you got one of those. I am thrilled. I need to work on a new set of tumblers for the win. That's so cool. So anyway, I had this model in my collection here, in the to build pile, right? And I thought, okay, eventually I'm going to build this thing. And that eventually became this week. I was doing some research into the people that do model building videos on YouTube, right? And I have a few of my favorites. Plasmo Scale Models, fantastic. Does a lot of aircraft, sometimes some sci-fi. Boile Hobby Time is another one. Very, very good. I'm going to call both of these out at some point. I should probably put some links in. And I noticed that there was a difference between some of these videos where they were very engaging and kind of fun to watch. And really, it's a combination of, you know, them sort of editing and scripting it and getting it to a consumable level. I thought, well, that's kind of fun. And as I dove into this research, right, you know, also known as the YouTube black hole, I thought, I started finding more and more of the aircraft builders. And they're making good videos. And I was getting absorbed by what they were working with. And what I mean is, you know, how they were painting the model, how they were basically doing all of the steps that I knew about for many, many years. But unlike, say, a Star Trek model, on a plane like this, you get to work with more colors and weathering and finishes, which I could also do on a Star Wars model. But even then, they're pretty prescriptive, right? You occasionally get some color variants, but there's still kind of variations of gray. When you step into the aircraft world, you get all the different color schemes and all the other fun stuff that goes with it. So building a model end to end becomes, you know, a little more just fun from the process, right? The things I love doing in the models. And I know we've done model live streams before. I feel like the last couple that I did, I think I picked the most boring stage of model building. Sorry. The Hawk when I was building, I was putting myself to sleep. I felt terrible for everybody that was watching it with me. But anyhow, so that was the piece that led me to, hey, by the way, I'm watching all of these how to build aircraft model videos on YouTube, and it all looks like fun. And so I thought, okay, let's give it a shot. So anyhow, let me show you where we're at. And I'll go through a little bit. I'll quit being like a gray-bearded, talky guy, which, you know, forgive my gray-bearded, talky guy friends who do spaceship model building videos. I love and adore you all. I just, you know, I'm in danger of being one. No. Yeah, all right, let's take a look. Okay, boom. Check out this thing. Let me see if I can get the cockpit shot in here. Holy crap, look at that thing. I know it's bouncy. I'm trying to manually adjust the focus here. Okay, there we go. Stop bouncing. Stop bouncing. Everyone's going to get sick. All right, jump into the cockpit, everybody. Here we go. All right, once that bounces out, there we go. All right, let me see if I can turn it here. This is hilarious. I've been working very hard on angling the cameras and everything. Can you get a good shot in here? I feel like you could just kind of crawl right on in. Oh, there we go. Losing the focus a little bit. Hold tight. Hold on. Oh man, I got to get it like I've got to do better with this. I need to do remote focus control. I think I could do that. Think about it. It got the little seat belts in there as well. They are actually decals, but there we are. Yeah, so that was pretty fun. Boom, let me pull this back on here. All right, so the Corsair model. Haha, there we go. Hey, let me know if it's not really in focus, any of that kind of stuff, because I really want this to be, I really want you to be able to see this thing. Woohoo! Lazy Susan! Woohoo! Boom, ba-da, boom, boom. Seat needs some cushions. Hey, you know what? It's weird, Rhonda. The way this worked was, here, hang on a second. I'm gonna pull my head up a little bit. There we go. Maybe I need a scale space frog to use as a point of reference. I agree. I agree with you there so much. That may have to be a thing. Here, my mouth is drying out. I've got a little space frog water. Hang tight. All right, let me see here. I'm gonna try the. There we go. I want the focus plane to be like the focus plane, the focus plane of the plane. Oh my God, I cracked myself up. All right. So, one of the beautiful things about this kit, and let me see if I can. I'm going to keep playing. I also, this is also my new setup, folks. So bear with me. I'm playing with things. Aren't we all graybeards these days? Exactly. Yeah. Oh my God. Okay. So, yeah. Oh, I know I can do this. There we go. Boop, 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 boop. So you can see kind of the let's do it kind of close up here. There we go. We're all graybeards. Even the ladies. I'm sorry. You're all no kidding. So one of the things that appealed to me about this kit is, and this is tiny, right? Can you see like all the rivets and all the little panels and things on this? This is all molded in to this tiny kit. And of course you can add your own, and a lot of the aircraft model builders do. Apparently there's a whole lot of rivets, right? Let me point right. There's a whole lot of rivets along here that are missing from a real Corsair. I'm not bothering to put them in. I could, in theory, right? And yeah, so that was one of the things that really appealed to me about this kit. I shave, right? Very good. Look at the very tiny. Oh my good God, the very, very tiny. Let's see if I can catch this in here. Boink. Oh, yeah, there. Look at that. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I could not read this decal when I put this on. You shave too. It takes 30 years off your. I'm a little overdue for a shave, and my hair has gone feral. Sorry. Anyhow, this is crazy. I had to double check a couple of times to make sure that I had that little decal upright, correct side up. Sometimes I let it go too far into hobo mode. That's good. No push. There we go. Nanu, how you doing? Panel liner, Gundam builders have pens for that stuff since Gundams are just space plane, man. Exactly. Hey, we're flying a little Pappy Bowington Corsair this week here. This is great. I have a beard. Ender1 Design says, greetings. I have a beard. Let me have to shave it if my fight happens tomorrow. Amateur boxing. Oh, right. I forgot. Yes. We don't want anything for them to grab onto. That's very important. Well, I hope you get to keep it. I'm sorry. And if you do have to lose it, I hope the other guy gets it worse. So yeah, the plane. I'm not sure where was I going to go with this. Okay, so it was something like it goes something like this. I got absolutely I got wrapped up in the airplane builders, and I thought, hey, this is great news. I have a 72nd scale Corsair I've been wanting to build forever, right? So yeah, convenience, right? Hey, good thing I kept that model. Now that's it. Yeah, this is 72nd scale, not 44th. Sorry, 72nd scale. Yeah, I think they make a 44th, but decals. Damn, the damn decals. Sorry. Oh boy. Anyway, so I got the plane out, and I thought, well, I'm gonna fiddle with it, right? And off track. Do you have a good time last weekend? I had a great time last weekend. Thank you. Yes, I had a nice meetup with with a good friend of mine that I hadn't seen in a long time, and my brother and my father up at the old house I grew up in Grand Blanc, Michigan. It was a good time. Good time. No, it was very, very fun. And part of that got into this because I had run out of some of my model supplies over the years. And I know this doesn't seem like a big deal, but let me tell you, folks, this was just even before the move. Here, let me pan this thing on down here just a little bit to give you some idea of what I've got here. All right, there we go. Aha, there we are. We're just gonna do this for a little bit, and so to paint this model in particular, let me move some things out of the way. I have mixed up my own colors with the same paint that I've been using for the planets. Hey, Grand Blanc, he says, awesome, yeah. The this golden series of paints, these fluid acrylics, I own as an artist like a huge palette of this stuff, all the colors you could ever possibly need, and these are acrylic based, right? So the nice thing about the acrylic ones is they airbrush really, really well, like extremely well. They're very fine. It's a finer quality paint, I think, than some of the older model paints, like the Testors line. I think possibly some Humbrol, and I know someone's probably going to get at me about this, but I believe the golden line is a much finer pigment, pigment ratio, right? You forgot how small that is. Oh, of course, there's a huge plane. Yeah, absolutely. It's so you can hide a knife in your beard. We're all pirates. So anyway, I got thinking to myself, I don't want to have to repurchase all of my model paints, right? I used to have hundreds of the little jars, like, in fact, here's one of the ones I had to repurchase again. This is literally the only jar of model paint that I have right now, and it's flat black, and there's a reason for it, is because my other black is very glossy. So this is one of the things that I paint with quite frequently. So I've got myself one jar of Tamiya. So I feel like I had, let me pull these things out so they're kind of in here. So I feel like I had, okay, I've got piles of these. How many? I have so many of these colors. The reason why I'm showing neutral 5 is that for scale model building, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of gray colors that are used for military, planes, tanks, and what have you. In reality, there's like 3 gray shades. Most of those are. There's like 5, 8, and 1. And then this gets diluted, or it gets tinted one way or the other. A green, a blue, magenta, orange color, what have you. So if you've got a handle on how to tint your paints, this is that's a huge, this is probably more paint than you would probably need in like 20, 30 years, right? So, yeah, especially if you've got a pile of them. So that was one of the things I thought, if I'm going to do models again, I'm going to probably have to end up using the golden paints quite a bit, which is good because I've got piles of them that need to be used, and they airbrush great. So that was step 1. The other problem is I didn't have any of my clear coats. I didn't have any of my primers, and it's really important to prime your models before painting them. So what did I find here? One of the supplies, if you will, that I dried up and I lost. I'm gonna move this out of the way. Was primer, and I managed to get some of this Mr. Finishing Surfacer 1500. They only had white because right now this stuff's hard to find. They're waiting on the one person that imports the stuff from Japan. Apparently hasn't imported the stuff from Japan in a while, probably for obvious reasons, and we might never see it again. But a tiny bit of this goes a very, very long way. So I was thrilled to get, like, you're talking drops out of this is all you really need at a time. But to go with it, they also make a really nice a really nice thinner. It's a lacquer thinner. Mr. Colors, the brand. I had a bit of their regular lacquer thinner, but what's nice is with the leveling thinner is it extends the paint a little bit when you're shooting it, so you don't get dry paint on your model. I know all of this stuff is really geeky, but there's a reason for it. I'll bring the plane back to tell you in a second. Should use white, gray paint medium for tinting, shading paint. Ba-da-ba-bum. I'll get to Tasty Whale. I'll get to that in a second. Yeah. Tamiya. It's Tamiya, tomato, tomata. I have no idea. Anyway, so on my hobby shop, on my trip to Michigan, I also stopped at a couple of hobby shops. One in Ypsilanti, the Model Cave, which was brilliant because I didn't know they existed. It's right off the highway. It's right in downtown Ypsilanti, right by the Hobbs restaurant we used to all go to, which unfortunately is no longer there. And what was great for me was I was walking through a hobby shop that really does cater to the sci-fi model crowd quite a bit. They've been there for a while, apparently, and met the couple that owns it. They were fantastic. And I was able to land some supplies, which is great. I haven't been in a hobby shop in so long, like a good quality hobby shop. Okay, I take that back. We've got one that's starting in Oil City. So forgive me, Y-Bridge Hobbies, if you're watching. Yes, I have been in your shop. Forgive me. Great shop, by the way. I'm very much looking forward to spending a lot of money in your shop if you're watching. But these were definitely established model shops, right? It's kind of like, oh, you can walk in and you get that smell, right? The smell of unbuilt dreams, right? It's the smell of shame and desperation. No, it's not that. Anyway, that was another fun part of the weekend. Not only that, but after I got done with the visit with my dad and my brother, they're like, Ryder's Hobby Shop is still open over there in Flint. And I'll tell you, Ryder's Hobby Shop in Flint, Michigan, that's the hobby shop my dad and my brother and I used to go to when we were really, really young. Well, my dad was older, but when my brother and I were really young, my dad and I used to go to and Matt used to go to the hobby shop. I know I have a friend named Matt and my brother named Matt. It was very confusing for me too. Anyway, so I did actually get to stop there and got to see another really cool established hobby shop that's still going strong. Yay, Riders. Thank you so much. I look forward to coming back up on future trips again. It was so nice. My old hobby shop back in Washington State, Galaxy Hobby, they closed, they're gone. And if John Morrell ever comes back to watch my live stream again, if he's not offended at what we talk about, yes. Anyway, yes, we all miss Galaxy Hobby. So it was very good to go into a hobby shop again. And I was able to get my stuff. So anyway, very cool. Wes says 1,500. Yes, this is very important. For airbrushing, the 1,500. Yes. Follow the instructions carefully. Also, use a respirator with this stuff. It is deadly. I actually used to prefer lacquer and enamel based paints because they are gorgeous and there is no getting around them. They are fabulous to work with. All right, let's put that back on over there. Anyhow, I should talk to some of my friends in Japan and see if they can get together a Mr. Color care package for us. Ooh. I may be in on that. Wes, let's chat. As soon as I've got some budget for this, yes, I would be interested. Absolutely. Hey, you know what? Maybe we can organize a group purchase through the Discord here, Wes. I'd be cool with that. We seem to have a couple of model builders in our midst. Oh wow. Our sun, the sun is popping out of the clouds and it's brightening everything up. Anyhow, so my bench is a little messy. Forgive me. I have parts all laid out. Tasty Whale says, I used a 2-part glue, JB Weld. Yeah. And so glad I used that outside. Oh, yeah. JB Weld is potent. But most of the hobby epoxies, though, for the models, if you ever need to, aren't too bad. They do have a little bit of that. Well, what's the smell in epoxy? Is that ammonia? Is it acetone? I forget. It's really strong. If you go back to Ipsy, go to Sidetracks Restaurant. Okay, you got it. I will keep that one in mind. I can't remember if I saw it, though. It was right downtown. Yeah, but I think I would like to definitely get more Mystic Color. And really the reason why, gosh, where am I going to go with this? Okay, cool. Let me pull this back up again. Hang tight. So the reason for that like ridiculous discussion of primers and everything is that when you're painting a model, sorry, I'm watching my thing as I'm doing this. I need to work on this part. When you're painting one of these, the tendency is to just say, okay, I need to put primer on it, and I did this a lot. I got away from it, right? When I kind of stopped, just before I stopped building models last time, I got away from it a bit. Your tendency is to take a rattle can and think, all right, you know what? It's auto primer. It probably goes on pretty thin. In reality, it doesn't. It goes on pretty thick. And what'll happen is as you're painting, you're gonna lose details like these, like these panels and all the rivets and stuff, right? And so when you switch over from using those rattle cans to something you can control with an airbrush, and I'd already found this with the finishing. I did pretty okay with primers, even though they went on pretty thick. A lot of times I was working on models that didn't have this fine a detail, so it didn't matter. It's fine. But I love this tiny scale, and I thought if I'm going to do this, I need to preserve this stuff. So when you get back to the... And that's really what those Mr. Surfacer 1500 primers are for. They're incredibly fine... what do you call it? It's a very fine ground primer, very, very thin. And when you shoot it with something like lacquer that evaporates into the air very quickly, you get this beautiful surface. And that's what I'm very happy to report. I'm very happy with the surface on this because there's virtually nothing to the layer of primer I put on. And then even when I went over it, I basically did all the coloring by hand. I know it looks really sloppy right here, and that's a little intentional. So basically, I just went over it with my airbrush. I should demo this, and I'm very, very sorry. I was just trying to get this thing done, and I didn't record much of it. But there are other times in my life where I would have probably covered a lot of this detail, right? And I think here, I'm going to turn my headshot off here just for a second so you can kind of see the whole plane. That was my goal. Let me try to like follow what these aircraft players are doing, aircraft builders, not players, the builders are doing, and try to see if I can capture as much of that as possible. Because yeah, you don't see it now. The next step on this model is where it's going to get fun. And this was one of the reasons why I was rushing to get it done. I needed to get the base colors, right? The aircraft's color scheme on here. And I needed to get that down to a point where I could do all the decal work. Oh my God, I haven't even turned it over yet. Look at the beautiful underside of this little creature. Oh my God. When you turn her over, she's all like, oh, that's really bright. Here, let me see if I can darken that up a bit. Here, hold on. There we go. There we go. That's a little better. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. Boom. So it's got this really fun color scheme. And the white on the bottom of this, that's just my primer. I'm not even bothering painting a white over it with the other paints, right? Da-da. All right, now we got to get into where it's a little more problematic. Here we go. Let me move this bad boy right on up here. There we are. Wes says that's kind of why I stopped using enamel paints too. They're just so thick and take forever to dry. Hey, you know what? I found it that So I agree with you, Wes, and I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to do it like this so you can actually see. Let's go. There we go. Okay, yeah, we're going to do hang tight here. I agree with you, Wes. Although I will tell you, towards the end, like I kind of dropped building models around 2015 when we did the bakery, more because of the time. But I finally got enamels to work, Wes. And you know what it was? You gotta thin the shit out of them like you do with the lacquer paints, Wes. What's really cool is with an airbrush, enamel paints that are thinned down properly, it's kind of like shooting lacquers. If you get really, really thin coats, and it will flash off and dry. I did find that it wasn't like the old days when if you brush painted on, it would take like, a week to dry. But even then, it still wasn't. Wes says, "Oh wow, Burbank House of Hobbies has a pretty good selection of Mr. Hobby paints. That's cool." It's the 1500 series of primers that are getting to be a little difficult to find. Anyhow, sorry, I had to grab some water. All right, the point of all of this. Let's see, where's the point of all of this? Okay, so if you notice on this nice, beautiful decal right here, see how it's all snugged down into this is tiny detail. The reality of the Corsair is that it had fabric covered sections. So they've actually modeled that. That's what these panels are in here. Which again, don't want to cover that up with paint. That's very, very cool. The next thing that I absolutely hate, and I mean hate with a passion, are decals. Decals and I do not get along. So I decided I was going to go ahead and just be like, okay, this is stupid. My war against the decal, my war against the decal has to be over with, right? This is ridiculous. I'm going to get this decal done right. So anyhow, I decided I'm gonna go back to square one and figure out what am I doing wrong in the process? Why do I hate them so much? There are some people that I know and who I truly respect that are like, yeah, I love the decal part. I'm like, you sick puppy. What the hell is wrong with you? No, anyway. Woohoo. Wow, you can almost see it. It's not too bad, right? It's not too bad. Anyhow, let me pull that back in again. So, let's see if I can get a little bit better. There's a couple of spots in here where I definitely got the, sorry. What did I thin enamels with? Testers used to sell their own, airbrush thinner, right? And it was basically just refined mineral spirits, but I think they also put in some extenders, maybe not extenders, like flow enhancers and stuff like that, because I found that it worked so much better than, like, say, a hardware store mineral spirits. I found that if you use hardware store stuff, for the most part, it's a little too hot. Like, it goes a little too far, right? Oh my God, I got the decal to sit down. Oh my God, that was great. So a couple of the last models I built, Wes, I really did enjoy working with the enamels, but they're still not as quite as nice as lacquers. So if I'm going to if I have to have one lacquer in my process, it's going to be like the primer or maybe one of the clear coats. So yeah. Anyway, on to the next part. One of the reasons why this has been such a kind of a fun process is going back to the golden paints that I used, right? Like going back to these golden paints. Not only do I think they're a better quality pigment overall, and they airbrush beautifully. They airbrush into very, very thin. If you set it right, you can airbrush very, very thin coats with this stuff. So again, keeping detail. The other neat thing, and this is something where they differ severely, from model paints that have been done in the past is these, when these dry, they're glossy. Yeah. Most scale model colors, especially military colors, have a flat finish to them. So, you know, you'll get a plane to the point like this one. And let me just pull it back out here. So you get a plane like mine here. You get it. You get it painted. You get the decals on it. You know, you get it all set and everything, right? And then you got to take a whole extra step and put a clear coat over it, and then wait for that to dry before you can put decals on. And there are people who are challenging this this myth. But anyway, that's the typical process. So yeah. And I don't like taking breaks. If I'm building a model, I really just want to go from one step to the next. So if I can eliminate a step because the surface of my model is just nice and shiny, it's the colors that I want, it just happens to be glossy. Well, the last step you're going to do on one of these things is you're going to spray it with a satin or matte finish clear coat as a protectant. And that eliminates all the gloss. So, yeah. Mineral spirits is banned in California. Yeah, that's right. I feel like I get banning things, but I feel like there needs to be a classification for hobbyists who understand the risks. That kind of drives me nuts. Well, yeah. All mineral spirits. That's so wild. Wes says, Microsol and Microset do not decal without them. Yes. Oh, my God. Let me show you what he's referring to. These are my what Wes is referring to. So when it comes to decals, there are definitely all Microset. This is the one you put down. You kind of, I'll do a demo of it at some point. You put this down first, and then after you get it in a position, you know, you blot it off, you get it so it's laying down, you put this micro solvent on, and what that does is it once the decal is in place, this thing will it basically dissolves the decal to the point where it will settle down into all of the recesses and all that good stuff. So yeah, I know I'm trying to get it in there. I was having a tough time with the autofocus when I was first setting this up, and I thought, screw it, I'm not going to bother. So anyway, yeah, Microsol, you kind of put this down on first, slide your decal into place, and then the Microset. And if you find that it still doesn't quite settle down the way you want it to, you find your old jar of Solvaset, which is, you know, this stuff is nasty with a capital N. It's good. It'll make them really sit down. Hey, mediocre modeler, how you doing? Sorry I'm late to the party. You know, I've never used either one of those decal solutions. Oh my gosh, no, it's let's see, what's my decals are dry, clear coat over them. That seems to be working out so far. Fingers crossed. Oh yeah, you know, it's entirely optional to use these mediocre, but I've got to be honest with you. When you kind of they're not, for one, they're not terribly expensive. I think Microset, let me think here. Pump it up. Yeah. So I think what happens is Microset is a dilution of formaldehyde, and it makes a slippery surface. It works with the glue in the decal. Plus it gently starts to soften the decal from underneath it. And then once it's in place and you get it dried out, the Microsol is this one's ammonia, is it? No, vinegar. Yeah. Yeah, it's like a vinegar, basically, I think. It's like a vinegar solution. It's the same kind of thing, right? Oh, yeah, well, Solvaset actually is still made, yeah. The Microsol is nice because you don't want to touch a decal after this. This will basically liquefy the decal medium. In theory, that's what it does, right? I mean, that's kind of, not in theory, that's actually what it does. It doesn't completely eliminate it, but it turns it from being a thin sheet of like a thin film into basically a liquid where it just drops over all of the details. You can still buy the 2-pack of Solva set for around $10. Yeah, I think so. My my Solva set, I don't know if you can see this. Let me well, you can if I focused it. Ryder's Hobby Shop for $2.79. I think I got this probably around 1990 or 89, I think. I've had that Solva set for a very long time, and this one's potent. Yeah. Woohoo! That smells like that's got something else in it. I'm not sure. Does it actually say? What is in this thing? I'm not sure. Hobsco will replace if defective. I should return it and say, I don't know, it's not working so much anymore. Ooh, dull varnish to entire blah, blah, blah. Yeah, works by evaporation. Yeah, you mean Microsol and Microset. Yeah, I know. Yeah, yeah, the Microsol and Microset. They're pretty inexpensive. Yeah, I like them. The decal process, it can drive you absolutely nuts, right? No question. Let's pull this down. There we go. Let's do that. And I know. Focus, you idiot! What the heck? So, what's really annoying about this particular decal right here, I'm not going to lie to you, it's actually two, right? There were the first is the red outline here. So you got to put this whole red outline down and get that into position and get that dried. Right. Thank you. I appreciate that. There we go. Yeah. Not quite yet. No. We might be kit bashing soon. Yes. After it dries, then you have to put the other one down, and there's even like little marks, right? And you have to slide this exactly into position. It's got the star, right? With the basically, why didn't they just make it one freaking decal? It drives me bonkers. I don't know. Maybe there was some other reason for it. I have no idea. Well, I had these perfectly aligned, right? And I used some of the Solva set on it because I figured 2 decals, I want these to really stick. They did. They conformed very well to the surface. On close inspection, this looks like these things were painted on, I swear. Oh, if I can get a good angle on it, if I can get it in focus. Anyway, you can kind of see how it's ribbling on there. But look at that. Look at that. Sorry. Look at this damn. There we go. Look, that's better. When it dried, it shrank or slid. I'm not sure which. Oh, it drives me bonkers. Every one of them did it. There's 2 on the sides. This is actually going to be pretty easy to fix. I later on, I'm going to use a circle template and like a pencil or something, and just crop out that little half moon, that moon sliver. Oh my god, it was so annoying. That drove me nuts. Anyway, I am actually very happy with this, and I gotta tell you, I think you might have missed it when I said this, Mediocre. I really went back to basics, right? I actually found one of the first, not one of the first, but I found like some of those very basic. Here's the basics of putting on decals, and they did use Microsol and Microset, but they did it in such a way where I thought, all right, I just don't have the mindset, right? I really just have to kind of sit down and give myself a good talking to, and go slow with it, and I'm finding that works well. The problem is every decal set works a little differently with all those chemicals. But I will say this. The chemistry involved with decals isn't 100% necessary. I agree with Mediocre. You do not have to use those by any means. I've built many models where I didn't bother, or I just and they worked out absolutely great. And on the flip side, I built some models where I went through all of the steps I just talked about, and the decals still ended up looking like decals and silvering and all of that good stuff. There's a lot of steps to consider. It's really, really annoying. Really, really annoying. Look at that, though. Holy crap. Look, it looks like it's just painted right on there, isn't it? Isn't that great? Oh, cool. It's hard to tell, but I did actually catch some rivets in some of these. Anyway, yeah. So here's the beast. And I'm not going to lie to you, folks. It's actually very, very fun to whoosh around with these planes when you have them kind of to this stage, because, they look gorgeous and they're fun. So, yeah. And forgive me for actually going this far with building this model, because honestly, I wanted to get it to a point where we could do the fun stuff. Like, I would like to do some weathering. What airbrush do I use? Oh, cool. Let me show you. Pull this back out here. I have an Iwata HPC, and this is probably my oldest. No, it's not my oldest airbrush. No, this one I use the most. It's a double action, which means when you plug the line in, which means when you push down you get air, and then when you pull back you get paint. So they're very smooth, very easy to clean out, very easy to disassemble. Right. In fact, that was one of the other problems I had. It turns out Chris hadn't properly cleaned out his airbrush. So the minute I put those lacquer paints in this thing, not the paints, but the minute I used any lacquer thinner, right? Like this Mr. Leveling thinner is lacquer based, right? all the little bits of crud that I missed that were made of that are acrylic paint just started dissolving in hunks, and so that translates to clogged your airbrush. So I spent a day cleaning out this airbrush to a point where it would work. I was getting so frustrated. So I'm like, what do you mean? This Surfacer, Mr. Surfacer 1500 is supposed to go through airbrushes. Great. What the heck? What's going on with this? It was driving me bonkers. So I did it. But anyway. Nandu says, I just got a Harder Steenbeck Ultra. I'm not sure what that one is, but that's cool. There are many, many really good airbrushes out there, and frankly, this design has been frequently copied, and with good reason. It's very, very good design. Mediocre Modeler says, decaling can be a relaxing zen prior to the completion of the model, but when the decals are super tiny, I'm out. Yeah. I like I said, the no push the no push decals on the end of the wings were like, okay, I hope I get them right. Where's my other airbrush? Sorry about that. So this was my primary airbrush for use. In fact, when I built the airbrush spaceship model, it's designed based on this one right here. So yeah, there we go. That's over there across the room. And my other airbrush, also made by Iwata, is this little gem. This is the HPM2 by Iwata, and this is a single action airbrush. So you just push down on the top and you spray. Same kind of thing. Filler cup in there, right? But what's nice about this one is the needle is on a setting, so you can just set your the diameter of your spray, which is very, very handy. So like if you're working just on, like, I know I am just going to do primer, I just want a good coat of primer, this is your airbrush. In fact, I bought this one specifically so I could work on the planet models I did for the Tellus Museum, because I needed to do a lot of good quality spray. So I needed a spray gun, but in miniature, and that's what I like about this. That's exactly what it is. Mediocre says, I always did like that plane. Every time I see it, I can hear the beginning of Bob Bob Black Sheep. Well, exactly, right? Oh my gosh, what a great show. the 70s, Robert Conrad, and I forget who else is in it. The guy that played Colonel Lard, he was in everything. It's hilarious. Yeah, there was a show in the 70s about the Black Sheep Squadron, which famously flew the Corsair, the F4U Corsair. And in fact, this particular kit, let me just get back into focus here on the 83 there. This particular kit is one of the Corsairs that Pappy Boyington flew, Major Pappy Boyington, and he was the main character from this show. They were out in the South Pacific, kind of a band of ruffians and cutthroats, right? The squadron was put together. They needed as many planes as they could get into the South. They had more planes than pilots, right? So this was actually supposedly the first plane that was given to what became the Black Sheep Squadron, and the first one that Pappy Boyington flew. But it was apparently an aircraft carrier plane, thus the red stripe around here. And apparently there's a big kerfuffle on whether or not these planes actually had the red stripe or not, because there are no color photos of Boyington's first Corsair that we know of. So this was flown around. I think it ended up in Guadalcanal, but he never flew it in combat, which is why I don't have any kill. Pappy was like the guy. Boyington was crazy. He was a crazy man in a good way, and was shooting down just scores of pilots. Unfortunately, at this stage of the war, Japan wasn't fielding nearly as many aces, or the aces were getting fewer and fewer. I have one of those iconic jewelry cleaners. Drop my parts in there and let them run. Oh yeah. Or those Isonic jewelry cleaners. I do as well. I'm overdue for that level of clean mediocre. But by the time I dropped in the lacquer thinner into this, I'd already started a process that I had to go from start to finish. Right, I'd already decrusted so much, and I was already in the middle of it, that I just proceeded to gently clean it the rest of the way with my lacquer thinner. Anyhow, the birdcage part actually refers to the cockpit. It looks like a birdcage. I don't know of any other. I don't have the part. I have the clear parts. It's yeah, there we go. That's supposedly Mr. Boyington right there. And it was a very different configuration from the more dome-like one he flew. Yeah. So there we go. I know. My weird space art live stream that has nothing to do with space, or a little bit of art. I feel like I did a very artistic and very artistic approach to the paint job. The intention is these things were sitting out in the South Pacific sun, right? They were getting covered in salt water. They were on muddy landing ways that were just bouncing all the time. They were getting crap all over them. They just leaked oil like a sieve. There was gasoline pouring. Well, not gasoline, whatever their fuel they were flying with, right? It was just constantly spilling on them. So I wasn't going to give it a solid blue color. I thought, nope, I'm going to paint this up slowly in my layers to make it look like, hey, this plane was once painted, but now it's getting all dried up and stuff. And I think to a certain degree, I did capture that. Who knows? We'll see how it plays out, right? I keep turning my head off and back on. All right. Enough talking. I think we got to get to the fun part, don't we? What is the fun part? Well, I'm glad you asked. Do we start on the bottom or do we start on the top? I think I want to start on the bottom. Yeah, I think we need. Yeah, there we go. We'll get into some good detail right along in there. How's that look? Let's just pull this on in and get that. Oh, look at all of that. There we go. All right. I'm going to get this set up here. Now, main live stream. Okay. This is the stage of the model part that I thought would be fun for the live stream. Hang on. I'm pulling up my cart. I need more of these rolling carts from IKEA. Oh, by the way, I hope you enjoy my very cool captain's chair. That was very, very fun. I've been able to finally unearth. All right, let's see what we've got here. This will come in handy. Got a little Mars Black. What else? I've got a little Burnt Umber. What the heck? All right. Now we've got a little ultramarine blue. Okay. So, and just for Wes, I have something Wes can't get. I recommend a road trip to Pennsylvania. We've got some odorless mineral spirits here. Very important. All right. Now, the reason why I'm laughing is when you want to make an airplane look dirty and call out the details, you use what's known as an oil wash. And an oil wash is basically oil paint thinned down to the point where it just goes right into all of the crevices. The nice thing about oils is the same way that they blend beautifully and work well on space paintings, they do the same thing for models, especially when your model has a nice paint level that is immune to mineral spirits. So, with luck, I have this properly coated with a lacquer-based satin finish over my decals, which are on acrylic or another lacquer-based paint, which none of those should be touched by whatever I put on right now. Actually, I still have a 2-gallon can that I bought from Texas. Okay, perfect. You are set. You're set. The real funny part about this, I think, I'm going to put this back up again, is that it takes such minuscule amounts of this paint to do an oil wash, especially on a plane this tiny, that I probably have enough oil paint in my possession for 5,000 years of building 72nd scale Corsairs. But anyway, in most model builders, like, kits of things they like to use, you will certainly find a couple of tubes of a good oil paint. All right, so I'm gonna pull a couple of these out. What I basically, I'm gonna put one color in each of these cups just so I have it, and then I'm going to take another cup for the mineral spirits. Now, like everything else that I work on in here, make sure that your room has ventilation. I have a door behind me. There's a fan blowing in here. I have 3 windows plus my doorway. Oh yeah, look at my doorway. Hey, there we go. Check this out. Woohoo! Outdoors. Yay. Oh, you can't really see it. That's okay. That's very cool. From where I'm sitting, I can see outdoors, and now the sun's back out. Yay. Okay, cool. So I'll show you what I'm doing here in just a sec. Here, let me just pop it out. I'm gonna leave the camera where it is for now, just because. All right. And oh, I forgot my really cool. Usually when I'm doing this, I wear my Wonderfest apron, but it's all the way over there, so I'm just gonna not get shit on me. How's that sound? Okay, so I'm gonna get a little bit of the burnt umber. And I mean, we're talking a tiny, that's even more than I'll ever use on this, but that's okay. We'll just, we'll slide that on in there. There we go. Yes. All right. what's nice about this is when you're doing an oil wash, it's a little bit like doing any kind of airbrushing, right? You've got to make sure that it's thin enough so that the pigment from the oil paint runs into tiny details, not so thick that you leave a smudge. Sometimes you can get it too thin, sometimes you can get a little too thick. So I like having the option of just sort of, here's my colors with a little bit of the mineral spirits in them, and I just work it with my paintbrush. If anyone's interested, later, what? I'm tempted to go Payne's Gray instead of black. I'm going to go Payne's Gray instead of black. Okay. Instead of black paint, I'm going to use what's basically called Payne's Gray. And the reason for that is it reads as black, but it's a semi-transparent paint that's basically used for tinting. And it is it's like a chromat, but they call it a chromatic gray. So it tends to be a little more neutral. Mars Black actually has a bit of a red shift to it, which is fine. It's barely noticeable. Anyway, Payne's Gray for my black. And then finally, I'm going to do a blue. And I if I need to, I have some lighter colors. In fact, I might even do one lighter color. Okay, let's do that. I'm gonna grab a little bit of blue. I know I'm doing everything off camera. I know this is terrible. I set my camera up for the damn the damn thing. All right. I think I am gonna get one more color. I'm gonna put it in with the burnt umber. A little bit of raw sienna. Later on, maybe I'll work, this will work into a green if I'm not careful, so that's good. Okay, yeah, I'm glad I didn't do phthalo blue. There we go. It's been a long time since I've actually done this part of a model to this degree. So we're now actually going to be going through the part I haven't gone through yet. Together, and for fun. Well, actually, I have to put it into where I was at. Yeah, there we go. All right, cool. Awesome. Right. Okay. So here we have a little bit of my raw sienna, the lighter one, and the burnt umber, the darker one. And once there gets to be a little thinner in there, it'll mix and match, and I can kind of pick one or the other. I have a little bit of my ultramarine blue and my Payne's Gray. You can lay these out on a board. I find having a container is actually better. All right. Now, maybe a touch of brown, since oil from those radial engines is brown. Exactly. Well, Wes, the burnt umber is like a dark brown, and then the raw sienna is like the lighter brown you'd get from like the oil that's sort of like blah. Yeah. So I basically have two shades of brown. All right, let's get some. I only have like 6 of these pipettes left. It's crazy. I shouldn't be doing it this close to my finished model, right? Okay, there we go. Woohoo! Manufacture date 2023. Okay, very cool. All right, there we go. That should be plenty. The odorless part of odorless mineral spirits is nice, but it does still leave fumes. So always be very careful, right? Okay. Let's come back to the art view. There we go. I'm gonna have this right on in here. All righty. Let's start with oh, I need a brush. I need some brushes. F me. Where's the brush? I actually found some really nice ones that I think are going to work out really well. Not that one. Although that one could be fun. I've got one that's kind of bent. That's kind of fun. Da 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 da. Not tiny enough. There we go. Right. Let me start with the Payne's Gray one. I think I'm going to do that one first. Da, 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 da. Some of this. The only thing I don't know that maybe I need is a if in addition to the odorless mineral spirits, if I need a flow enhancer of some kind, that's the only thing I'm not sure about. Okay. And all I'm really doing here, let me just, I'm going to pop this back out. Sorry. So all I'm really doing here is I'm just trying to take my, you know, I'm trying to, like, the paint is on this side over here, and I'm just trying to thin it down to a really thin consistency. I need more of this. There we go. In fact, let's just do the pipette thing. There we go. I'll leave that handy. There we go. So I'm just trying to get a little bit of this in here. And there's a point where it sort of becomes, hey, Iridium, take care. Thanks for hanging out. There we go. I think that's going to do the trick. Have a great weekend, Iridium. All right, and the other thing I want is you want kind of a nice dry brush so you can kind of take care of issues. I'm going to have a couple of those handy. Let me pull it back in. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. I love how my tripod is still like bouncing. It's a fluid head tripod, as they say. Let's pull this down here. And let's just kind of see how this works, right? Da, 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 da. Oh, hell yeah. When this works, it's my favorite part. Oh, yeah. Oh, let's get this part. Oh, I'll bet that will go nice too. Oh, look at that. Oh my God. Yes. 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 Oh, here, let me pull this over here. There we go. Let's get the other side. This is actually kind of fun. I think I can make this work, right? From the gods of scale modeling, I bequeath you. Yes. Oh, hello. That is my all-time favorite thing in the world. Yes, indeed. Well, we will get you some brown. Hey, you want some brown? Is that what you asked for, Mr. West? You want some brown? Not enough brown for you, you say? All right, look at a little brown in there. There we go. There we go. Wait, where'd it go? Hold tight. Get a little brown in there. Get a little brown up along there. There we go. Yeah, yeah. There we are. Better get some on the other side. You like your brown? Uh-huh. You like a dirty? You like a dirty bitch of a plane? Oh yes, of course. Sorry, that's really rude. I shouldn't do that. Oh my God. But yeah, South Pacific, right? South Pacific. I don't know any of the South Pacific music. Sorry, folks. And even if I did, oh my God, this is like my favorite thing in the world. I'm not gonna lie, folks. This is like sick. Okay, but even better yet, I actually managed to set my damn camera up so I can capture this fun with all of this. And what's cool is you can kind of layer this, right? Like as you go along, you know, you can add more, let it dry, add less, let it dry. Yeah, this part right here is a little, the only thing I have to be careful of, I need to be careful of where the camera is. Otherwise I will be, that'll be dangerous. So like if you have too much here, you just kind of, you know, do your thing, right? There we go. Yeah. I do need to get some dark in these, these are actually the exhaust ports, right? Engine exhaust, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, you know, I do need kind of like a do need to be able to mix these a little bit. Yeah, I always like having burnt umber and a good deep blue. The Payne's Gray and burnt umber actually do very, very well. Da, 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 da. Drop in there. I will go over these with a little bronze because they were kind of like bronze colored by the time they were getting, you know, by the time they were using them. So yeah, there we go. We just need to get some dark in there. I might do a black after all. We'll see. But yeah. Let's pull this on in here so we can kind of do it this way. Ah! I'm getting better. I'm getting better, I swear. Let's see if we can get them in here. There we go. The challenge is keeping it in view of both you and me at the same time. There we go. Okay, a little bit more of that. A little thick there. Dirty. A little too dirty. And if it is, if you ever feel like, okay, a little too dirty, got a little too much, you just pop some off there. There we go. And come back into it again. I pulled some out of the rivets in there. We'll have to... There we go. Oh, man. Hey, this is the way to work on small planes, by the way, is just put your camera on it and... yeah, put your camera on it and move with your pen. You know, forget glasses. Anyway, okay, all right. I need some of this. If I don't, wow. And really, all this is supposed to do is to be calling out the details, right? And that's really the best. They do that for surgery. They do. I know. Yeah, right? They do. The camera thing. I know, right? It's crazy. Okay. But it makes sense. And we have the technology. So, yes. Here. Oh, yeah. Dang, that watch is really popping the line. Isn't that fun? I discovered the joy of panel washes with oil paints like a long time ago when I was doing my I was working on one of the Battlestar Galactica models. It was a studio scale Viper. And it just so happened someone was telling me that, you know, because oils work with the mineral spirits, you can have a safe, if you use them over acrylics that are dried, you're in good shape, right? I thought, that's cool. Didn't know if it worked, and it did. It worked out fantastic. And I love how just what's the word I'm looking for? I love the control you get, right? And if you get it just thin enough, it'll deliver the pigment. And the cool thing is, if you don't like something for some reason, like all of the stuff that I'm bouncing on the surface here, after this sets up for a bit, it wipes right off with a cloth and it leaves all the panel details. So yeah, this is just fun. So yeah, and even right now, if you're like, okay, I don't really like how that goes, you can just like, okay, come on in. Let's give it a little streaky action because, you know, it is a plane that's flying fast and, you know, there we go. It's probably getting all that stuff coming straight back, right? Same thing up here. And if you find that, oh, it's setting up too much, just grab a little bit of your odorless mineral spirits and clear it back out again. There you go. All right. So let me pull it back out a little bit. There we go. So here's our, here we go so far. You know, that's kind of fun. I might take exception to some of this. There we Yeah. There we go. I've used this trick on aircraft since the 80s. It's such a great trick. Oh, sorry, I didn't have this one. Yeah, this is honestly, I'm doing nothing new here, right? This is definitely a classic, trick, and especially in the aircraft and tank communities, right? Which is why, really, I feel it's always good to explore through the other genres. The same way, like, hey, sometimes, even though I love painting space and space art, it's kind of nice to paint a sunset, paint a lighthouse, any of that kind of stuff, right? Oh yeah, model railroad. Oh yeah, the model railroaders. Yeah, that's the thing. My the hobby shop that did open up in our town is a model railroad. That's like their jam, right? And very cool. So they are getting some really great finishing stuff. It was really fun. Oh man, this is ridiculously fun. I'm not gonna lie. So the nice thing about not using black, kind of the same reason you don't want to use white, right? I feel like maybe it would be a little too much. What's the word I'm looking for? It'll be out of scale, right? That's the word I'm looking for. I don't want it to be out of scale. All black would be kind of ridiculous, right? Okay, I'm going to take a second, folks, and I'm going to go ahead and go to the restrooms. All right, take a quick break, and when we come back, I'm just going to power along. Concurrent viewers. Awesome! Hello, everybody! Thank you for joining me on this Friday afternoon with my airplane and space art. So hang tight. I'll be right back. Here we go. Oh boy. Okay. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, do, 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 do. Okay, everybody. Thank you for that moment there. I took that off. Thanks, and welcome back to the live stream. Hey, here we go. Oh, our music has ended. Awesome. It is time to fire it back up from the top there. There we go. Awesome. Thank you for joining me on this Friday afternoon. It's normally Space Art, and this week we're doing something a little crazy and a little different. We've got the plane. The plane. Yeah, we're all right, let me crank this back up a little bit more now that we got some. There we go. There we are. Thought I would crank that back up again a little bit. Right now I'm doing a little bit of a of an oil wash on this plane, and in some of the fun about this is I've been wanting to do not just models for the sake of models, but to do some fun display pieces that incorporate some of the sci-fi stuff that I have. The bulk of the models that I own are sci-fi and film related, right? So anyway, consider this kind of a shakedown. I'm shaking myself down and I'm building a model at the same time. Guilty as charged. All right. Hey, before I get started back on this, you know, the nice thing is none of this stuff dries out that fast, so you can just kind of hang tight, you know? This is really great. I do agree, though, with Wes that a little bit of brown in here was really nice. So I'm going to just kind of put this one, take some of that off. There we go. Just brush a little bit of that odorless mineral spirits on here, and you reactivate all that paint, and you can do some fun things to it. There we go. You know, it's really the nice thing about it is the amount of control you get with this process is really fantastic. Let's just hang it like that, shall we? In just a moment. There we go. I want to do some down here. But before we proceed, I hope that you're all having fun too. I know it's been kind of a slow couple of weeks. You want to see the other model that kind of got me back into this that I haven't brought? Well, I brought out parts of it earlier. Here are the, I'm just going to set this little bad boy aside for a moment. I just dropped it. Oh, nice. Drop it on the floor. So I have, this is a, it's not the other. Here's the side that is actually decaled. Okay, these are the engines of a, what is this? This is the Strange New Worlds Enterprise, and it's another small kit, but it is actually space themed. See, we're not just all World War II planes here. Check this bad boy out. Holy crap. That is all decal, folks. All decal all the time. And both sides. Yeah. So to say the least, this model definitely gave me a little walkthrough in becoming reacquainted with decals and the process of decals. I don't even have them all on yet. I don't have like the call letters or any of that stuff on it yet. But I do have the banner on the secondary hull here. This thing's pretty tiny. There we go. Yeah, the way Round 2 did this one is they basically went the let's just wallpaper it in decals kind of thing, right? And that was their choice. Jamie. No, I'm kidding. There we go. Actually, it looks great. I do have to finish this one up. I think especially in this scale, it just makes the most sense because, damn, that looks really good. Yeah. So yeah, this is the other model that I'm working on, and chat's just dead. So yeah. I've there we go. Hopefully I'll do a little reveal of this one. Let me just do this. That'll be easier. I'll do a reveal of this one when I get it finished. But I needed to, I haven't built anything. These are literally the first two models, two or three models I've built in the last 10 years, right? So kind of needed to get back into the whole bit. Let's see. Da 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 da. Wow. Okay. There we go. Anyhow, so yay, Star Trek models, Star Trek models. All right. Just need a flat clear coat at the end. That's it. Exactly. It gets a little shiny. I was terrified. This thing is like, what, a dozen slabs of decal. They did an excellent job on it though. I'm gonna tell you, whoever I wonder if they've got, I forget who they use for their decal stuff, but oftentimes they go into the model community for these. So good job. Neat little kit. I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was a lot of fun, and it is intended for a more basic builder, but that's okay. There's nothing inherently wrong with that at all, and I am down with it. Okay, let's just get us back to where we were here. Ta-da! Not sure if I could do that without screwing it up. Oh, actually, you know what? That was where I was at too, Wes. And I just decided, you know what? I'm just gonna go for it. And I just thought, what the heck, right? There we go. It was one of those discipline moments. I'm like, I'm gonna do it. I swear I'm gonna do it. Or die trying. I don't know if maybe discipline isn't the word. Is it more like madness? I guess. I don't know. No. Madness? Ah, nothing wrong with that. All right, let's get back to some fine work here on the panel lines. Gonna go back in with a little bit more of the Payne's gray. I want to get these ones dark. The cool thing is on the top side, on that dark blue top side, I'm going to do the same thing but with white. And the reason for that is because you'd have like rivets would be, they were constantly taking panels off, putting them back on, so the paint would get knocked off on or near the rivets. It's pretty cool. Oh, that's a little too much. A little too much there. Here, hang on a second. I need a little bit more of this. There we go. There we go. Just kind of getting it to the right consistency is the key, right? There we go. Roll on in there. And I want to get some on the decal. This is going to help me just determine how much of this decal picked up the stuff. Uh-oh. I'm running out of room here. Let's just bring it on down to like that. And truly some of it is the discipline, right? I was kind of making myself do stuff that in the hobby process, Wes, I was a little reluctant. Like I said, I've gone through most of my time going, I hate decals, but was I really doing them right? That was kind of my thing. Not that I'm suggesting that you weren't. I get it. They're challenging. They're challenging and annoying under all circumstances, right? All right, let me see if I can bring this around to a point where, oh, the guns, the great guns. We're at 350 calibers on either side of here there to take care of those targets out there in the South Pacific, you see. And yeah, I'd better use them as much as you can. Okay, there we go. Kind of nuts. I'm not really sure why I did that or said that. That's okay. Okay, there we go. Let's pull it on in here. This needs a little love in this area. I have quite a few nearly completed models that I've not done the decals. Yeah, that one's... See, that one stuck me too, Wes. You and I are similar in this regard. Yes. There, well, decals would stick me, and lighting. You know, anytime I decide that I'm going to light a model, I might as well just have hang up the kit, right? It's going to be... It'll be in the it'll be a closet queen for the next 50 years, I swear. But I'm going to get through that one too. Promise. I promise I will get through this. We'll get through this together. In fact, we will get through this together. Yes, some of it is I just don't know how... I don't like how decals look. Some of it's trepidation. Well, the thing that's getting me over that the decals look is this... getting them on before the weathering, right? I'm going to try to see if, you know, by treating the decaled surface the same way I'm treating the surface of the airplane here, I'm hoping that I can sort of make it read more like it's just as dirty as the rest. And I think, especially on the Star Trek kits, I feel like the Star Trek kits in particular, the decals are very precious, right? Because you... Oh, that wasn't good. That wasn't good at all. You really never want, you don't want your banners and things to go bad, right? So I kind of feel like the Trek kits might have been the thing that sort of ruined it for me. There. I think I went a little too aggressive. I'm gonna let those sit in there a bit. All right. Let's get some of the let's get down here to the tail section a bit. Here we go. I will get that back into focus. Yes. Oh, that'll be fun. Let me turn it like that. And my face is off. Get my face out of here. There we go. I'm always like either adding more paint or taking some of it away. It's pretty funny. Hang on. Yeah, those long, thin, easily messed up stripes. Oh my God. If I ever have to do stripes, I'm gonna just lose my cheat. All right, let's get those in here. Come on, stop being so precious, Chris. Let's go. And like I said, the nice thing about this is at the end when it dries up, you can kind of just wipe it off, which is really great. And it's gonna call out. It's gonna leave the detail as much as possible. There, let me flip this around to this side. Oh, what? Ah! Oh man, I need the some room here. That's what I need. Ah, there we go. Crisp lines, crisp details. So the other thing too, and one of the reasons I want to pursue all of this as much as I have, is that I still have a lot of models, and how fun would it be to turn them into something special, you know? Not just build them, but bring them into a, bring them into a scene, bring them into something that you'd want to have on your shelf, right? Which is the goal of most models, right? I realize that. There we go. Get some of that in there. Yeah, there we go. You dirty bird, you dirty, dirty Corsair, you. Rude. How rude. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna get a little thicker there, a little bit thicker there too. There we go. All right. Let's work on this side here. Right. I'm gonna do something a little different. I think. There we go. Looks pretty good. All right. Going in with confidence. I love that they have the machine gun holes. The shell casings come out of there, right? Oh yeah. Some people do just kind of go over the whole thing. I've done that before. I'm trying to keep it a little bit sedate here. Everything's going to work in our favor, though. There we go. All right. Now, let's see the... Oh, this will be fun. I'll bring it back into close there. There we go. All right. Oh, Mr. Clean Engine Cowl. Oh, I bet you think that you're so fancy. Not so clean now, are ya? No, not at all. Yeah, this will definitely get brown as well. In fact, let me go get some of that right now. There we go. But yeah, brown makes it oily. Especially on the underside here. So we want some good browns in this mix. There we go. Bring it on to the other side. I know how to do the lighting. I just feel like it's kind of overrated. Yeah, right? Most people aren't going to have their models lit while it's displayed anyway. You know, I was kind of... I'm kind of with you there, Mediocre. Really. I feel like... Yeah. No, who was I talking to? I was talking to a pal of mine, another model builder friend, and I was saying how I wanted to build the Klingon not the battle cruiser, but the Klingon, the bird of prey, right? Because I do think a bird of prey model will definitely lend itself well to this technique that I'm doing here. I got a little too much there. Let me get that out of there. Yeah. Hell, too much. So anyway, I was like, you know, I've got a couple of those kits, the old classic bird of prey from Star Trek 3, and I'm kind of like, yeah, I want to just I feel like I just want to build and paint it, you know. I mean, not that there were a lot of lights in that thing anyway, right? I mean, they did a few for the production, but you know, it's all good. And honestly, the other problem I see with lighting, Mediocre, and you probably noticed this too, I think people overdo it. I think that a lot of times there's just, it just puts it out of scale, right? Like there's no way anyone's eyes are going to survive 2 hours in that, you know, under these conditions, right? Yeah. Well, fun. This is actually... Da 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 da. This is looking grody in the very best way. I love it. And you know, I'm resisting the urge to like do the wipe because I want everything to stay in their places. I'm digging this so much. How's my focus been on this stream, you guys? Guys and ladies, guys and dolls. Have you been able to see kind of what I've been trying to show here, just for except for me being shaky? Yeah. Oh wow, this was that really rolled onto the top there. Yeah, see the top, I kind of want to do something a little different. Yeah. In fact, let's try it. I have to try it. I'm sorry, people. I have to try this. Okay. Yeah, I wasn't gonna try this. I was gonna save it, but I've never done the Aztec on the Star Trek models. I'll take decaling over that any day of the week. Yeah. Well, mediocre, I gotta be honest with you. I've done a couple of kits where I've painted the Aztecing, right? And one of them I was super careful and accurate, and it was okay. It was not my finest effort, right? I'm gonna put this somewhere. Yeah, I'll just put it in here. It was okay. I found that the time I painted my Aztecing and I didn't care. I just did the I just went for it and did a pattern, real basic. I had more fun with that model. I would definitely do the Aztec on the Refit Enterprise and maybe the D. Yeah. Oh, that's right. I hand paint. That's right. I hand painted the Enterprise D Aztecing once, and that was actually kind of fun. That was actually a good time. Okay, I've got some white here, and that's going to be a little grayed up because of, you know, reasons, which is good. Good reason. I do want to do my Refit Enterprise, the 350th scale, with the full-on painted Aztecs. That is a goal for myself, and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. The problem with most Aztec, and it's nowhere near subtle enough. I agree. Yes. Better? No, crazier. Just crazier. Yeah. All right. So I've got some white. There was a little bit of content. It's not full white. I've actually brought it back. There was a little bit of both Payne's gray and what's the brown one? Raw sienna in it. So, all right. I don't know how well this is going to work, so I'm going to try this. I'm going to see. Let me bring it back in, and I try it on this top section right here. Oh wait, that's too far in. Let's just go there. Okay, cool. Yeah. So same principle, right? And the pearlescent lacquer, exactly. I'm thinking, Wes, I'm gonna do. I don't know if I'm gonna go lacquer. I might go lacquer. Oh, it's so hard to say. I'm definitely gonna go subtle, right? Like Mediocre said, they're often too obvious, right? So I'm definitely gonna go very subtle, and I'm gonna go very subtle with it. Play on the pearls more, because one year I actually built the refit for my hobby shop back in Bothell, and I didn't bother with the Aztecing. I just painted it with the clears. No, sorry. I did a pearlescent white coat, the Tamiya one, and it was very nice. There we go. So this is a little thick, little thick. So we're gonna do. Oh, whoops! There we go. We're kind of doing the same thing a little bit, but let's get this. Okay. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, it needs a very thin, almost transparent overcoat to tamp it down, so you really have to work to see it. Yeah, exactly. Like you only actually see it when the light hits it just right. Like that's the goal, right? Well, mostly. I know there's people that are like, you know, the experts and everything that'll be like, oh no, you'd see it everywhere. I just know what I liked what I saw in the motion picture, and that's kind of where my eyes are gonna go with it, right? There we go. Yeah. Oh, this is fun. Let's get a little bit of the brown in there too. Because this is a cap for the fuel right here. I have one of those small NX01 refits. I'll try to use some pearlescent on that. See, that would be fun, honestly. I have some pearlescent pigment powder that mixes well with an acrylic or lacquer medium, either or, right? Get that out of there. I don't want that. I just want some of the bright on there. There we go. There have been a couple of guys on Hobby Talk that really nailed it. Yeah, I agree. No, I there's a few builders out there, Wes, that I just, oh, who's the guy? Oh, there's a couple of them that are building them on commission for people, right? One guy's got it just freaking nailed. I forget his name, and I'm gonna feel bad, but you know, that's cool. He doesn't know who I am. Scrub. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, he doesn't know who I am either, so screw that guy. Screw that kid. No. Yeah, there's a couple that are really good at it. Oh yeah, let me turn it in this way. Like Scotty says, brings a tear to me eye. Yes. Oh yeah. I love that this is captured. God, look at that. It's capturing those rivets are rounds. They're not just single dimples. Wow, these guys are insane. Tamiya, you're all nuts. Every one of you, you're all crazy. Crazy motherfuckers. This is kind of fun. This is like very relaxed. Yeah, there. And because these are oil paints, they will take like forever to dry. Well, a long time. Okay? But here's the thing. Note that the overall effect is it's going to tone down how brightly colored my blue is. The more of this I get on here, the more it's kind of going to be like, hey, this thing is not brand new. And yeah, these are the bolts that Trekworks. Yeah, he's one of them. He's got a good grip on it. He really does. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Trekworks. Yeah, he's one of them. Thank you. This is actually, this is actually the first time that I have ever weathered with white oils with a light color like this. I believe it or not, in all my years doing hobbying, I've rarely used this particular trick. Okay, Mediocre, thanks a lot, man. Have a great night. I hope Wonderfest went well for you, pal. I forgot to ask you about that. Take care, okay? Let's get these in. I was very sad to have missed Wonderfest, yes, but at the same time, I did get to go and visit with old old friends, because we're both old, and family. So that was pretty cool. And honestly, this is the sort of thing that by moving to this part of the world, I wanted to be able to do, right? Like this was one of the goals. All right. And I need to do some more frequent posting, I realize. We are I was just out of it for the entire month of June or May. I wasn't a fan, man. Hey Ginger, how you doing today? Good to see ya. How's the Ginger doing? Ooh, we are working on a not space, but we are working on an F-41U Corsair from World War II, and I'm doing a little weathering on. Well, this is what's called an oil wash. I'm taking my pretty birdie plane, and I'm making her dirty because she's a dirty plane. You see. This model is just a really nice little 72nd scale model that I had in the stash. And I decided, hey, you know what? I'm just going to... Actually, now that I have some white on here, I'm just going to build and paint this thing up with the best of my abilities, Jinja. And so we've been having some fun with that. What do you think? How you doing? Good to see ya. So, yeah, it's got a little... Right now, I'm trying to get the like the white. I'm using a white on top to call out all of these little what are those things called? Rivets. Yes, rivet. I'm doing the rivet thing. So yeah, there we go. It's my daddy bed. Yes, it's my daddy bed. Let's get on in here. So these particular warbirds used to sit out in the sun in the Pacific Theater, and that Guadalcanal, Japan, Japan attack, World War II, that sort of thing. So anyway, they get a lot of stuff. Oh, how's kitten season treating me? Thank you for asking. Honestly, we think there's 2 in the area, maybe 3. And we're working on getting them. Jinja, I'm happy to report that in the last year, I feel like Stephanie and I have really done a good job capturing all of the adults, at least most of them. We were down to like 1, right? One lady and a couple of guys. So this year we don't have nearly as many issues as we did last year. Thank you. No, it's going really good, actually. We're going to get the last couple. That's part of the deal this year. And we have not yet added to the household number, which is really great. So fingers crossed, right? It's still a ton of work. They're all getting older, though. They're all like basically a year old. And I shot a video that I haven't finished editing. I did coffee with cats, Jinja. I'm very happy to hear you. I sat out in our sunroom with coffee and shot some video where I talked about the cats. So that's going to be coming to the channel soon. I've been shooting a lot of video, everyone. I just haven't been finishing any of it because my thing, life in general. That's one thing. No, I'm having a crisis of quality conscience. I'm trying to probably do things maybe a little differently. Anyway, the short of it is, we're gonna have some fun with the kitties. A house full of teenagers, exactly. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that, right? They're good. They're good. All right, let's get the other side here. All right. It's so funny. This white paint just like stays on there. It's pretty cool. Now we adore them. What do you think? Do you think cat videos? You tried to abscond with one. Yeah, Pickles dug you, man. That was awesome. Oh, sorry. Pickles was like, oh, I like this guy. Oh yeah, he's one of the good ones. Yeah. We do love them. We do love them. It's very weird to me that we have that many cats. Like there's nothing normal about it, but at the same time, I feel like we did the right thing, you know? I feel like we did the right thing. All right, let's see if we can get some of this detail in here. I love doing this when it just like races into those rivet holes and all the panels. That's like my favorite thing in the world. Pickles should have come home with you. Aww. She is adorable. If you wanted her, we can talk. I know she likes her company here, but I'm sure that she would probably do just fine in with your crew. So yeah, you let us know. Any of us, let us know. I think Stephanie is going to be particular about a couple of the combinations, just because they've gotten to each of them has their own basic weirdness, right? So yeah. Pickles first love. Yeah, it was Nanu. What the hell's wrong with this cat? Holy crap. No. All right, let's get this on here. So my attempt here is to mimic the harsh conditions, the salt water and the sun that these planes were in. And so on top, all of these are going to be baked, right? I went and adopted another cat that my wife likes better. Whoops, let me get this in here. That's okay. Hey, keep adopting them. That's all good. We're just going to try this. We'll get this in here a little bit more. Yeah, I know it's been a lot, and I'm not going to lie. Stephanie has been doing the lion's share of the work. I cannot give her enough credit, everyone. I don't want you to think that like this is all on me. She's the one that's really been doing well with it, and it's a lot. So I don't know, maybe I'll try a couple of kitten videos. What do you think? A little cat video? I can't even call them kittens anymore. They're all old, right? Okay, sorry, let's go back in here. They're all a year old. There's no kittens. What the heck? I'm actually like watching my screen as I do this, not the model. That's hilarious. Okay. Come on, Chris. Do this right, you freak. There we go. Yeah. Okay, sorry. The goal here, Chris, is to keep like actually like, you know, showing people what the frick you're doing. All right, let's get this thing in. Wings over. Oh, hell yeah. I don't know. I might have to tone this down a little bit, but I do want the white. I'm always for cat videos, but you're a little biased. Yeah, we know. We know this crowd's biased. Yeah, by the time I get them edited, Jinja, they'll be 2 years old, right? Oh, I'm trying to get this to a point where you can actually see what's going on. And oh yeah, oh baby. There we go. Isn't that fun? Oh my god, it's so much freaking fun. I love this. It's capillary action. Now, you can't always get your models to do this. I'm going to tell you right now, okay? A lot of it depends on what your surface is like. So be careful, tread lightly. Sometimes this will melt the paint underneath you. It seems You can pull this off over acrylic paint. You can pull this off over lacquer paints. There's a number of combinations that this will work out just fine on, but yeah. There we go. So now we're going to get this just washed off just a bit. Now I'm going to come back in with some of my browns in here just a little bit. So we have some sand in the mix. Oh, look at this action. Oh, check this. Check this out. Oh, yeah. Oh, baby. Ah, I lost it. No. There's a little detail there. Ah, crap. It came through. Oh, look at that. You dirty bird. Yes, you very dirty bird. Okay, sorry. Oh, that's too dirty. That was... Holy crapola. That's okay. We wanted that to happen anyway, right? I'm not going anywhere yet. Matter of fact, just pulling in the driveway so you can watch it on the big TV. Oh, awesome. I'm thinking I probably don't have a ton to do. Like, once I get the other side done, I'm probably going to call it. Forgive me. I'm just sort of, I'm going to be forced to, this is one of those situations I don't like, is when I get forced to stop for one reason or another, right? I hate that. Although, I gotta say, let me pull it back. I like the yellows in there, like Wes was saying. So I think that's gonna be, I think I'm gonna have to do that in the rest. Just a little bit up here. Just so we have some in there. There we go. All right, let's pull it over here. A little bit on this side. I am making it quite a mess, that's for sure. Oh, too much. All right, right. Let me see if I can expose the wing here a bit more. There we go. Yeah. So completely off the wall. But am I the only one watching Murderbot? Oh, Rhonda, I've got it. Oh my God. Not yet. Okay. Look, not yet, but it's on my list. I'm very excited for it. We were finishing another couple of shows, and we haven't tried it yet. But are you liking it? That I'm very curious. Are you enjoying it? I've heard good things. I've heard really good things. Anyway, yeah. I'm very much looking forward to it. Murderbot. It's on Apple TV. And it's based on some books, right? I've heard it's a very fun, wonderfully black comedy would be the best way to go. Yes. Love it. Okay, cool. Thank you. Good to know, because we're definitely going to be jonesing for another show here. I've been, Stephanie and we've missed a lot of TV in the last couple of weeks, but we're finally just catching up on Andor, which I'm not finished with yet, which I've absolutely loved, by the way. I'm going to be very sad when we're done with it. And yeah, so we'll get there. I will definitely get there for Murderbot for sure. Martha Wells series, thank you. I was trying to think of, yeah. Oop. So I am kind of doing this a little differently one side to the other, just so that I can try some things out. All right, let's get the guns here. There we go. Favorite part? Are you kidding me? You finished Andor. Very good. Yes. Wow, there's just something about that show that I think, aside from touching on some pretty serious subjects, it really hit home to me, like the stuff that I liked the original Star Wars about. Oh, sorry. Aside from the fact that it has a lot of 70s hairstyles in it and things, and that's kind of enjoyable. It also has, it's good. It's really, really good, and I'm going to miss it. So, yes. All right, let's get some. I want to get some of this brown into it. Let me get a better angle. Sorry. Oh, here we go. Oops, keep bouncing it. All right. Okay. Well, I hope that this has been a somewhat fun venture. So what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to let this dry for a little bit, and then actually I might be able to do some of it with the bottom here at some point. A fresh cloth, right? I've been instead of I used to use a lot of paper towels for everything, and we just kind of have gotten away from it. I'm liking, this is old t-shirt time, folks, but I have piles of these. They're exquisite, so much better than paper towels. So anyway, so what you could do is, if you, I got a little bit of the mineral spirits on this cloth here, and you can kind of come over it and do a little real light cleanup, and just kind of being as careful as you wish. You'll get kind of to where you want it to be. Same thing with this one. I'm liking this. I'm being extra careful over the decal, of course, but there is actually a clear coat. I did a satin coat, not a glossy coat, but a satin coat. There we go. So yeah, we're getting some kind of clean up some of the worst parts of it, right? You get kind of a nice response here. What I like about this process is that it's very slow. You can go and take it down as far as you want to, and come back and do it again if you like. It's really nifty. Leave it to just the amount that you actually want. These are some of the things I didn't do when I was building models when I was a kid, and I kind of feel like there was a phase where I would have probably really enjoyed this. So, all those oil paints that you have laying about, if you decide that you are interested in building a scale model, they will come in very handy. Very handy indeed. There we go. And it's a little harder to see, but we're getting somewhere. This isn't the only layer of wash either, folks. This is like just kind of the first. So let me just kind of go through this with the way I'm just going to go through it at my own speed. Try to keep it. I'm also trying to be careful not to break the damn model. Because that would suck. right? That would really suck. I might have to get in there on some of these. There we so this is closer to what I'm thinking, I really kind of wanted out of this. Just the hints of all the stuff, a little deadening of the paint. Oh, this was bad. There we go. Yeah. And I might go over and nicely do this, but yeah, there's a good before and after. So after and before, right? Yeah, this is fun. This part of doing models to me is actually a lot of fun, and I don't get to do it enough. So, thus, the airplane for this week's crazy thing. And sometimes you can sort of happy accidents your way into this, right? Like, sometimes I liked how this looked before. Maybe you want to stop early. Maybe you don't want to go too crazy on this part. Maybe you like where the thing is at. But I like having a little more control. So I'm going to take a lot off here. Oh, sorry. Off the camera. Off the camera. Got a lot of white in there. There we go. But now we have a nice sort of semi-dirty airplane. Looks like, yeah, it was painted properly at one point, but there we go. All right. Da 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 da, and then the underside as well. There we go. Where did my damp focus? There it is. Oh, yeah. This has been fun. This has definitely been fun. All right. Actually, I do think this plane has some really cool angles to it. Really good. Thank you. Thank you. I've been having a grand time with this. I'll give it a finish, and we'll do some. I'm gonna do a nice little base for this. So maybe I'll see if I can't pull out the pieces for that, and we can come in and do a nice finish job, right? That'd be fun. Cool. Little different than what we usually do here at the Space Art by Christopher Doll Studios. You just never know what you're going to end up with, right? All righty, everybody. Well, this has been a fun time. I appreciate you hanging out with me on a Friday. This has been a good time. Me with the models, us hanging out, and hey, it's also my new model corner here in the old office. So there we go. There we go. One airplane. There we are. Yay. One Corsair in particular. Boy, the top's very blue. It's really funny. It's still pretty blue, so I might have to do some of that. But all right. Yeah, I part of my resetting everything up here was to allow for me to sit over here. I just don't like my background. My background on the other side was much better. Thank you, Mediocre. Thank you, Rhonda. Thank you, Ginger. Thank you, everybody who's here. Wes, I think you were still in here. I appreciate you hanging out on a Friday. We will definitely be doing more of this. I'm having a good time with it. So yeah, especially when they look as good. Hey, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. All right, everybody, take care. Have a safe week. I will leave you with the outro, and we will catch you all next time. Cheers, everyone. Find the outro. All righty. I might have to do a new outro for us at some point. Take care, everyone. Thank you for coming by today.
All right, so I've taken my white paint with my little fan brush here, and let's just see how crazy this goes. This is where I throw paint everywhere. that just kind of gives it an air of legitimacy that it doesn't deserve. You know?
I have Bob Ross the shit out of this painting.
Yeah.